Hello, greetings. It is Diane Cox here, and I'm going to start the new year as I mean to go on. It's New Year's Day 2025, and I am going to finish this lovely Mythic Tarot exploration of the major arcana, and we are on to the Strength card. So we've just done the last card that we looked at was Temperance, and now we have the Strength card. Okay, have a good look at that card. And the hero, the great warrior we have here, is Heracles or Hercules. And again, look at the symbolism of the card, always good to see. What you're looking at here is the sword on the ground, the club on the ground, and you've got this beautiful golden lion, the Nemean lion, and then you've got Hercules himself in his dandy little sandals. Look at those. And yeah, he's in this cave, in this tunnel, having a wrestle with this lion. Okay, what is the myth here? Well, I'm sure you've all heard of Hercules, the great fantastic warrior of note, the hero, the Olympian, incredibly strong and brave, courageous figure. Who is his father? Well, his father was Zeus. And Zeus decided it was a good idea to disguise himself as the husband of the mortal woman, Alcmene, I think her name is, and basically ravished her like these gods do. They're big ravishers, aren't they? And she obviously begot with child. If you really look into the myth, she also had relations with her husband, and she begot 2 children at once from different fathers. It's one of those stories. The gods, well, obviously the husband wasn't a god, but Zeus should have known better, but they never do they? They are a law unto themselves. And anyway, so Hercules was born. He was actually called, when he was born, Alcides. He was actually called Alcides. And then later on in his life, he got called Hercules, which was, or Heracles it should be, because basically it meant something like with the power of Hera, or, you know, with great blessings of Hera or something like that. Which is a bit weird, because it was Hera, Zeus's wife, who basically damned Hercules to the 12 labours that he's famous for. And what happened here? So obviously Zeus had an affair, Heracles was born, and Hera was mad. Here's Zeus having another affair, another child off this mortal woman, and they've got Heracles, Alcides as he was known. And so Hera decided, with her goddessness, her divine insights, to punish Hercules, and basically sent Hercules mad. She put some curse on him and drove him mad, and in his madness he killed his wife and children. And then he got cured of his madness by the use of hellebore, the herb hellebore, and realised what he'd done was completely devastated, like any person with any half a brain would be. Funny how these gods and goddesses don't seem to have much SQ, do they? Not a lot of spiritual quotient or spiritual intelligence, SI or EQ, any emotional quotient. So basically he's driven mad, he gets cured of his madness, and he's obviously full of remorse and devastated. He's killed his wife and children, a most terrible thing, and he seeks penance from the gods, or he seeks just, he goes in full kind of remorse to the gods, and he goes to the oracle at Delphi, a place I have been, very exciting, and gets given this terrible punishment from King Eurystheus. Eurystheus is his cousin, and it's this king that basically gets to punish Hercules, and this is the person that sets the 12 labours of punishment. Evidently he started at 10 labours of punishment, and then because he was so good at it, they decided to add another 2. Great, eh? So the first labour that Hercules had to go through was to face the Nemean lion. Okay, so this is what the lion is here, the Nemean lion. And it's called the Nemean lion because it was living in a place called Nemea. And Hercules has to go and try and conquer this lion, not knowing that this lion has a very special golden fur. It's got very, very special golden fur, which is impenetrable to mortal, or obviously he is a kind of semi-god. The lion's fur is kind of impenetrable to weapons, which is why you see this sword on the floor. Okay. Now, in some, if you read this myth, some myths say he tried to club the lion and it didn't work. It just bounced off his head. And others say that Hercules did stun the lion with the club. And he tried to obviously have a sword and stab the lion. It didn't work. It just kind of bounced off. So what actually Hercules did, the only way to vanquish the lion was to strangle it with his bare hands. So that's what Hercules did. He strangled the Nemean lion with his bare hands, and then after the lion had its mortal coil choked out of it, Hercules wanted the lion's pelt as a great, kind of show of his courage and incredible luck and guile and strength in conquering the lion. So he couldn't cut it. He tried to cut it with various things, and basically Athena whispered in his ear, you're going to have to use the claw of the lion itself in order to cut the pelt, and so you can wear it. So that is the basic myth. And what he did, so the tunnel has obviously got, it's not obvious in this picture, but it's got 2 entrances. So it's got an entrance and an exit, so it's got 2 openings, and Hercules basically shut one end off, so the lion was trapped and snuck in. Now, what does this all mean? It means we're in a cave, so we're immediately looking at the unconscious. That is that which is not obvious or not seen, okay? And you have this Greek god of strength and Herculean power, big power, in a cave with a lion. Now, think about the lion. I like to, obviously it's very obvious, think about Leo, proud and full of the roar of the lion, the kind of kingliness, the royalty of the lion, and the lion here represents the dark primitive urges that we have residing in our unconscious. Have we all got dark primitive urges? It's a curious thing to consider, isn't it? It's that classic thing, if we were all left to get on with what we wanted to and no one ever found out what we did, what would we actually do, knowing that we'd never get caught? It's that kind of, I remember kind of looking at those questions, in studying psychology. It's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So the Nemean lion represents our dark shadow, I would say shadow self, our dark self, that which goes on in us, our kind of lower emotional kind of reactions, responses, thoughts, and it is that kind of, this card is about the fight, the conflict between the human part of us, the strong part of us, that part of us that, because, you know, Hercules has had remorse. He knows what he's done. He didn't go mad because of his own misbehaviour or the use of mad drugs or alcohol or who knows what was available during those times. He didn't do any of that. He was cursed. He was put a spell on, and now he's got to go and he's got to fight himself in a way. This is what this card, the Strength card, is about. The strength of Hercules to fight and wrestle the inner aspects of the lion that all lives within us, that is full of rage and aggression. Okay, it's that darker stuff that, if you've ever had a moment in your life where you've come across a situation or you've been threatened or something's happened, and this, as they call it, the red mist comes up, and you're like fighting on pure instinct, you know, pure motivation, little instinct, just pure intuitive reaction to survive. So in this card, you've got that going on. So you're talking about the deep unconscious, conflicts within the unconscious. You've got conflicts between some kind of dark, darker emotion, darker drive, darker response, reaction. And the Strength card is all about you having the strength of Hercules to, I don't like to say strangle it, because in the Mythic Tarot deck it says it's a transformation. It's like a transfiguration. It's not a death of the lion. It is using that energy, using your courage and your strength and your self-discipline in order to raise above those darker conflicts that are going on within most of us most of the time. You can obviously see all over the world, especially in governments, there isn't any of this wrestling going on. The lion is it's kind of still terrorizing the neighborhood, which is what the Nemean lion did. It used to terrorize the neighborhood. So the idea here is like so think about the darker things, or think about the ego. You know, like in the dark side of Leos is the tantrums, the ego. You know, Leos like to be recognized, and that's fine. We don't all need to be recognized, but the Leo personality likes recognition. They like people to go, you did that really well done, that's a great job, thank you very much. They like to be acknowledged, and that's fine. And then when it's gone a bit dark, the ego of Leo can be over the top. So this is a fight with the ego. It's fight with pride. Maybe not wanting to swallow your pride. Maybe there's something in life that is just, you know, you've got to accept that you were wrong, or you've just got to accept that there's a mistake being made. There's confusion. You were misled or misinformed. Who knows what. And the strength is to be able to, just accept that and wrestle it to the ground. You know, in the Rider-Waite, the card is that lovely, it's an ambiguous figure. You never know if it's male or female. I always think it's a woman looking into the mouth of the lion. It's not quite as physical as this, getting your hands around it. But obviously it's the Mythic Tarot deck, so that's why we're looking at the myth. So in the Rider-Waite, it's like a woman dressed in white, and she's just looking in the mouth of the lion. It's almost like they're having a nice chat about, being a good lion. Don't upset the apple cart. Let's not let our ego get too far here. Let's have some humility, some modesty. Let's come into a state of a little bit of matureness about what's going on. Trust yourself. That kind of, that be, the best parts of a Leo, they are to be admired in their best form. And this card, I think, really speaks to using the best parts of the Leo in energy, being bright, warm-hearted, open, and with Leos, they always help other people up. They always like to guide other people to be the best versions of themselves they can, if it's working well and it's not afflicted in a chart. So when you get this in a spread, it is about the inner conflict, and you have to look at the cards that are around it to go, what is this conflict then? What's going on here? What's going on with this person? What's going on in the deep unconscious? Is there some kind of blind spot that someone's got? Is there something that someone has? That there's an uprising of annoyance, and the Achilles heel has been triggered. Something has kind of caught them off guard, and they feel a little bit foolish, and therefore, they say. Have you ever heard that phrase that humiliation is worse than death? And I think with humiliation comes rage and aggression, and this desire to either hurt those who humiliated you, or to run away, or to do something like red mist, and it all comes out. So it's a card of courage. Have courage. Really bring out the self-discipline. Bring out the personal strength. It's like rise above yourself. That's what I'm getting. It's like just that's what I always get when I look at this card. It's like, you're better than this. You're better than these dark, primitive instincts. The whole journey on Earth. I mean, I quite like the idea. Being in the cave, you can see the light of day, and that's quite a good message, isn't it? When you're in a cave, look for the light. When you're in your unconscious, and there's something that's just triggered some response in you that is unhelpful and a bit lower energy. It's like, look for the light, look for your personal courage to get over it, look for your self-discipline, not to be pulled in to other people's dramas, or not to react in a way that someone is trying to make you react. So the strength card, it is kind of quite explanatory, and obviously this whole thing here is it's a shame for Hercules. He didn't do anything wrong. His father had an affair. His father's wife was enraged, drove him mad, kills his wife and children, and then he has to do 12 years hard labour in order to try and make amends with the balance of karma. So. But he's doing it. He's doing the hard labour. That's another good point about this card. He's doing it. He's hands up, and that's another good thing to remember with this card. Hands up. I've got. There's something going on here. There's something that I'm finding it difficult to cope with, difficult to manage, difficult to understand how to, kind of use this in an ability to make me grow. I'm just feeling rageful, and I just want to punch someone in the face. It's kind of, it's like one of those times when you get a tennis racket and whack it on a pillow, that kind of stuff. I've actually tried that many, many years ago. Don't think it was a tennis racket. I think it was a baseball bat. Why I would have a baseball bat? It was some kind of rounders kind of thing, but I don't really know why. But it was quite therapeutic actually. It was quite good. So that's the strength card. I think it's quite straightforward. So battling yourself, it's all about the self, isn't it? In conflict with the self, the unconscious and conscious self, and the desire to mature. As we know, this deck is about the Fool's journey, and at this point, after Temperance, the Fool is like, okay, now you kind of may be feeling that visceral, those visceral emotions that are sometimes very, very hard to deal with and shocking when you feel them. It's quite shocking if you've ever felt real rage. Or revenge, or like such a driving emotion that could do you damage and other people, and just to have the wits about you to go, I'm not doing that. I understand why I'm angry. It's valid. Or one of those conversations. I'm angry. I don't know why. What has it brought up in me? Why am I feeling so angry? Why is it making me rageful that I've just heard that or seen that? What can I do about it? How do I respond to this? And all that kind of stuff, which is what the self-discipline brings up, doesn't it? So I'd love to hear your own take on the strength card. But yeah, he's having a good old battle. Look at his face. I quite like. He's got quite a bit of a determination on his face. And like I say, of course, a lot of these terrible trials that these gods set for other mortals and immortals are very stressful, and they do like a little bit of, and they never expect them to succeed, and more than not they do. So that is another lesson, isn't it? Yeah, don't underestimate yourself. You never know what you're capable of. So that is strength. And thank you for watching. Like I say, do comment and let me know your own take. But thank you so much. And I'll be back soon with the Hermit. Okay. Have a lovely day. See you soon. Bye.